Mr. Bheemal Ramlogan. He is a member of the Tobago Hindu Society, and he's also going to be the master of ceremonies at their annual event. So good morning and welcome to you.
Sitaram, namaste, good morning.
And of course, we have a holiday coming up. And many of us, sometimes we overlook the significance of these holidays that we do celebrate in Trinidad and Tobago. And if you are not from Trinidad and Tobago and you're probably wondering what we're talking about, on our yearly calendar, we do have a lot of public holidays. Many of them are significant for the different ethnic groups in our Twin Island Republic. And it's quite often historical and significant. And on Thursday, the 30th of May, we will be observing Indian Arrival Day. And I want to speak about the significance of that in the context of Tobago. So if we can start our conversation there, what does it mean, when we talk about Indian Arrival Day for our East Indian ethnic group who live on this island?
Well, let me say what an honor it is to be here this morning. So Indian Arrival Day became a public holiday in 1994. And it celebrates the arrival of the East Indian on our shores. Now, while most would have been at Trinidad, eventually a lot migrated to Tobago, such as my family and myself. And in Tobago, we are welcomed open-armed. There is no issues with us across here. And the Tobago Hindu Society in the 1990s got registered and so on. And we've been having these celebrations for over 30 years. Every year we have Indian Arrival Day and Diwali celebrations. We have full support from the various bodies in charge.
Right. And, it's sometimes we are afraid to talk about ethnicity and race because people often feel you will offend others. Yeah. And even being in Tobago, there's not a very large population of East Indians, but the population is growing, and it speaks to a group finding their own, being quite comfortable. And you mentioned that, but there are some people who may not see it like that.
Yeah.
People who are not very familiar with the makeup of Tobago, when they come, and I've heard people say, oh, I didn't know there were Indians living here. Or if they see an East Indian, they assume that that is a Trinidadian.
Yeah.
So I want people to be open-minded. Tobagonians don't look one particular way. We are a melting pot in Trinidad and Tobago, and we represent a lot of races. So continue talking about the Hindu society. Of course, we know Hinduism is a religion. It's very integral to the East Indian community. Tell us a little about how important that religion is to the East Indian community and what it means.
All right, so when you look at Hinduism, first of all, it's the oldest religion in the world. Sanskrit is the oldest written language in the world. Our texts and our religious books are amongst the oldest in the world. And Hinduism is a scientific religion. Everything we practice, there's a science behind it. For example, the Hanuman Chalisa says that was written in the 1600s, outlined the distance between the Earth and the Sun.
Right.
And modern science was able to prove it after that. The distance written was 96 million miles. And modern science today is proven that it's 93 million miles. And the number 0, for example, came from Hinduism. The decimal point comes from Hinduism. So without the number 0, there's no mathematics, there's no technology. We wouldn't be able to enjoy this technology that we have here today without Hinduism. When our ancestors came from India, they brought their cultures, their traditions, their language, their religion, their food, and over time it evolved. A lot of our celebrations evolved from what happens traditionally in India.
And as you mentioned, celebration, we know on the calendar in Tobago, a lot of us look forward to Tobago's Hindu Society presenting the celebration of Indian Arrival Day. So let's speak to that. When is it? Where is it? Who can attend?
Okay, so it's open to the public, first of all. It's happening tomorrow, Saturday, at the mall from 4 p.m. We have a lot of entertainment, a lot of artists involved. So we have our very own Mia Bipat, the granddaughter of our president, Miss Palwati Bipat. And Mia is well known a primary school student, and she goes to Trinidad. She enters competitions and she represents Tobago very well.
Yes.
Then we have my younger brother, the famous Tobago Chana, Tobago's first East Indian chutney singer. And Chana goes on to Trinidad. He performs at the Chutney Soca Monarch and all these different competitions. He has multiple music videos. He'll be performing tomorrow as well. We have Sangeet Acharya Rukmini Hulas Bipat. She was recently awarded the President's Medal for Education and Culture. She'll be there as well with her whole band. We have representatives from the Mahatma Gandhi Institute. Then we have all the way from India, Sanjay Sharma coming from India to perform.
Right.
So we have a lot of talent from Trinidad, from Tobago, from India, and from other parts of the world.
Yes, and in case you're wondering what mall, it is the Gulf City Lowlands Mall, and that is where this event is usually hosted. And of course, it's open to the public. So
admission
those of you,
is free.
Right? And yes, admission is free.
And we have refreshments for you.
And
all.
I'm not going to say
I'll be cooking myself.
Yes.
Myself and my mother will be doing the cooking. So, you know, you're going to get top quality food.
Yes. And I was going to mention, you know, part of these celebrations and a lot of people who come out in the evening, you know, look forward to that, celebrating that part of what the Indians would have brought, the East Indian community would have contributed in terms of food. So if you're looking for something to do, there's always a lot of activities. And it's not just about eating something that you may like, but understanding what the East Indian community has contributed and continues to contribute, not just culturally, but in other spheres as well. So I know that you are the master of ceremonies. You mentioned that you and mommy will be cooking. Is there anything else we can look forward to tomorrow evening?
All right, so let me just give you a little update on what is happening right now with the construction of the first Mandir on the island.
Right, and that's the area that will be in Signal Hill.
Yes.
Right.
So Mrs. Bipat, as you all know, over 30 years, she has been the hardworking president. She's been advocating for this monumental structure.
Yes.
And currently we have blocks. We have the assistance from the National Commission for Self-Help.
Right.
We have the assistance from the URP workers, assistance from the Chief Sec. We'll be getting cement next week, and we'll start we'll further the construction. By the end of the month or so, we should have a structure in place.
Right. So in the absence of a temple, where does worship take place as a collective body?
Well, we have events such as what is happening at the mall. Tomorrow, there'll be the puja happening at the temple site. Sometimes we have pujas at the various members' house. So sometimes Miss Bipat would have it at her house. Sometimes my mother would have it at her house. Or other members would have the pujas at their house.
Right.
I know there's weekly satsangs that we attend with the Sai Center in Crown Point. So there are different ways and different forms of worship. If we look back on what Siddhartha Sadhu did in Trinidad in the 1900s when he created the temple in the sea.
Yes.
They told him he can't build a temple on this land.
Yeah.
And he went on to build the temple in the sea. Why? Prayer and worship comes from your heart.
Right.
You don't need a structure.
Right.
However, this structure would increase the visibility, the education, the knowledge, and talent, music, all these different things.
Right. And of course, bring you together as a people,
Correct.
as a family, which I think is important when you speak about worship. And just to remind you, the Tobago Hindu Society presents its annual Indian Arrival Day celebrations 2024, and that is happening tomorrow. What time does the celebration begin?
3 p.m.
Right, so 3 p.m. and we'll say 3 p.m. till, because we know after the official ceremony, there's a lot of mingling and socializing. A lot of representatives from different community groups are quite present as well. So you are invited 3 p.m. tomorrow. Come on down. Even if you can't make it for 3 p.m., you could get there for 4, still be a part of who we are as a people. And that's why I love us as Trinbagonians, because there's a little bit of all of us in each other. So I want to thank you so much for letting us know about this event. And of course, it was great to hear the update that material is there for the temple, and the Hindu Society continues to press forward. I want to wish you all the best. A special good morning to your president, Mrs. Bipat. And of course, I cannot leave out her daughter, Sita. I hope that you all have a blessed day and all the best with your celebrations tomorrow and of course on the day. And I must add that our guest, Mr. Ramlogan, he's celebrating his birthday on May 30th, Indian Arrival Day, you know, so he has a holiday, a ready-made holiday just for him. So early happy birthday to you, sir.
Much appreciated.
All right, so viewers, we go for a quick break. When we return, you'll see who's in studio with me next. Stay tuned.
Let's go!